You're most welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for today's session. Would like to proceed with what we are looking. We say this is a learning platform that each and everybody has to follow at least, just in case we have to continue with our learning. So when you look at what we looked at last time, we say that I say that it is somehow good and according to people's interests and what they are requesting, that we should also talk about the cleaning action of a soapless what? Of a soapless detergent. So today we want to talk about the cleaning action of a soapless detergent. Let us read the heading. Cleaning cleansing action of a soapless detergent. So it is the one we are looking at. Cleansing action of a soapless detergent. So what do we mean by this? In other words, so if you have a soapless detergent, how does it work? How does it do its how does it perform its function? So that's what we want to look at today. So we are talking about, in this case, we shall explain the chemical compositions inside there and how can your clothes be clean just in case you are using a soapless detergent maybe to wash. So in particular, uh, let us try to list the parts of a soapless detergent in this case. So when we talk about the parts of soapless detergents, let us first see. We looked at two parts. In this case, we looked at a soapless detergent with the unalkyl what? Unalkyl hydrogen sulfate group. Then we also looked at a soapless detergent with unalkyl benzene, the sulfonate. So in this case, let us see. We have the one of alkyl, a longer chain actually, longer chain alkyl hydrogen sulfate. So in this case, this one will be sodium salt of a longer chain alkyl hydrogen sulfate. Then we also have sodium salt. Sodium salt. This is sodium salt of. So in this case, we have also sodium salt of alkyl benzene sulfonic acid. Those are the ones that we have. This is the soapless detergent and also this is the soapless detergent. Now, all of them cannot be able to clean. They have now for any detergent to clean, it will have what we call the hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. All of these ones will have their respective hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. Let us start with this one. This one here has the longer chain alkyl. It has the longer chain alkyl group when you talk about it, and at the same time it has the hydrogen sulfate group. They are all there in that case. Now when you look at this one here, this longer chain alkyl group is first of all non-polar. Non-polar, and at the same time it is hydrophobic. Hydrophobic. It hates water. It doesn't love what? Love water. When you talk about this hydrogen sulfate group, this one is polar, and at the same time it is hydrophilic. Now let us talk about the sodium salt of an alkyl benzene sulfonic what? Sulfonic acid, and see. It also has two what? Two parts. We have the one of alkyl benzene. Have the one of alkyl benzene, and we also have the one of the one we are calling the sulfonate group. So in this case, on this side, this one is non-polar, and at the same time, it is hydrophobic. Then this one is polar, and at the same time, hydrophilic. Let us see. We are saying that for the detergent to clean, or for any detergent, to have the hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. Now we shall see the uses of the hydrophilic parts and the hydrophobic parts. But before we need to look, we are looking at soapless detergents. So all of them will work in the same way, whereby the hydrophilic part for this one, the work it will do is the same work for this one. The hydrophobic work for this one is the same work for the hydrophobic part for this one. Now, in other words, let us explain generally. What happens in a soapless detergent? The soapless detergent has both the hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. The hydrophilic part loves water. So it dissolves in the what? In the water. But the hydrophobic part hates water. So in that case, it is insoluble in what? In water. Therefore, it doesn't dissolve in water. What it does itself, for it dissolves in the what? In the dirt. By the whole process, the surface tension between the water and the dirt is reduced. So when it is reduced, the dirt is emulsified within the solution, and eventually it is removed from the what? From the cloth. Therefore, a soapless detergent in our summary has two parts, the hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. The hydrophilic part loves water, and therefore it dissolves in what? In water. By the hydrophobic part hates water. Therefore, for it is insoluble in water, by dissolves in the dirt. By so the dirt is now emulsified within the solution and can be removed from your cloth. So at the end, you can be able to see your clothes brighter through that mechanism. We have looked at the cleaning action of a soapless detergent, and we have been able to illustrate what happens. So for you, what you have to understand is that the soapless detergent, you have to understand this, but be able to summarize the point of interest. The soapless detergent has two parts, the hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. So what's the work of the hydrophilic part? For it loves water. It dissolves in water. Hydrophobic, it hates water. It dissolves in the what? In the dirt. The surface tension between the dirt and the water is reduced. And now after the dirt is emulsified within the what? Within the water, and eventually it is removed from the what? From the cloth. It can be a dirt, can be a grease, or else whatever. It can be an oil on your clothes. For that matter, therefore, allow us end here. I wish you the best.